So Amoonguss in Pokemon Sword and Shield, it's sort of this bulky support Pokemon. It's not going to come in and maybe not, it's bulky supportive slash just a tank, because it's not going to come in and do a ton of damage. As you can see, it has 114 health, 70 defense, and 80 special defense. So it can take hits, 30 speed, it's slow, and has 85 attack and special attack. So it's really bulky and it can do decent damage. Plus its abilities are Effect Spore and Regenerator. Effect Spore is good if you get a hit. That's the only things you need to contact. And Regenerator is a really good ability, especially on tanks. But it's Grass Poison, which is decent typing. Only weak to Flying, Fire, Psychic, and Ice. And you have a resistance to Fire, Fighting, Water, Electric, and Fairy with a 4 times the Grass. So it's not terrible resistance, like typing wise. Amoonguss has a good typing, but pretty much the main thing Amoonguss does is Spore and Black Sludge. Since it's poisoning, get the Black Sludge versus Leftovers. Is another Pokemon on your team can have Leftovers, which is good. But pretty much a defensive split. Like, it depends on if you want to go full defensive, do you want to go full to special, or do you want more of a split with Amoonguss? That's like the main thing with the EV distribution. Just how do you want Amoonguss to be fully tank, fully defensive, fully special defensive, or mix? I like mixes personally, so you don't bring in Amoonguss and then they use like Psyshock or something and it does a lot of damage. But Spore, you come in, you Spore, Pollen Puff, Sludge Bomb, Hex. Hex does double damage because they're asleep. Plus with Regenerator, you don't really need to run Synthesis on something like this because you have Regenerator, so you can take the hit. Or you could switch in, you could take 2 hits and then switch out and you'll get a third of your health back. Plus they'll be asleep. Plus Hex will do a lot of damage. So pretty much with Amoonguss, you want to come in, take a hit. With this one, come in Spore. But you have to watch out because it doesn't affect grass types. And certain Pokemon with like Overcoat, I think it doesn't affect. So you gotta be careful of that. But other than that, you pretty much shut one down, which is why this is why Spore is so good, and Spore is 100% accuracy. But you could also, in doubles, you can run Amoonguss like this. I would run Citrus Berry on this Amoonguss because you don't want to worry about, because of the Rage Powder. Pretty much this Amoonguss is Rage Powder, Pollen Puff, the main 2 moves. You come in, you don't want your ally to take a big hit, you Rage Powder. And especially if it's something like something that Amoonguss can resist, like a water move or something like that, it's really good. Pollen Puff, it can do damage, but it can also heal your ally, which is really good. Synthesis will heal you, and Sludge Bomb is just damage. It sucks Amoonguss doesn't get Sludge Wave though, which kind of sucks. You can also run like Clear Smog or Foul Play if you want. You could also replace Synthesis. I like Synthesis, so you don't have to switch out. You could also run something like Stun Spore if you want to stun them, or Toxic, which I'm pretty sure they both can't miss because it's grass and poison. But I like running Effect Spore on this one with the Rage Powder in case you bring in like a Liquidation or something like that, and you can get them, you either put them to sleep or paralyze them because of it, or you poison them. Like, you give them a status effect because of the Rage Powder that they weren't even expecting, which is really good. But again, what you want. I think this is the easier of the EVs to get, but I would always run Special Nature and more defensive. But you could also run Amoonguss as because it gets since it gets the move Clear Smog, you can run Amoonguss as, they're setting up, I'm just gonna get rid of their status real quick. So they're setting up, you come in, take a hit, Clear Smog, and then you could either Spore, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, or just switch out with Regenerator at that point, because you come in, you wipe away all their setup, and then either they're forced to switch, especially if it's something like something that's setting up with like a Shell Smash. Oh, the good thing about Clear Smog too is if it's something setting up and you know they have a sash, like a Poltergeist or something, and they're like, I can get an extra Shell Smash, or I can get an extra Dragon Dance or whatever because they have a sash. You come in, you Clear Smog, you technically break their sash because you'll do damage, and then they're like, well, you kind of mess them up because they either have to switch out at that point if they have to risk, especially with like Poltergeist, they have to risk Shell Smashing again, and so you can just attack at that point, which is, you pretty much shut down any setup with Clear Smog. Plus defenses, if they're sitting there trying to raise their defense, like a Clefable using Cosmic Power or something using Iron Defense or Amnesia, you come in and just shut that down. Plus I would run Black Sludge for the constant healing, so when you take that hit, if they do attack you and then you Clear Smog, because you could come in, take their hit, Clear Smog, and then switch out, so which is really good. But there's also Assault Vest Amoonguss with Regenerator, which is really good because you don't have to heal. Like, you don't need a healing move with this Assault Vest. Pretty much Clear Smog, Sledge Bomb, Energy Ball, Pollen Puff. I like Clear Smog here in case you come in and they start trying to set up, and then you're like, no, and you can just Clear Smog it away. You can run Foul Play instead of Clear Smog since it uses their attack stat, if you're not worried about like getting rid of their stat increases or anything like that. But pretty much Assault Vest, Regenerator, do damage and then switch out when your health gets low, so you don't need to really use Synthesis or anything. But some of the other moves I learned, Giga Drain. You could always run Giga Drain instead of like Energy Ball here just for the sustain. It's up to you. It's just less damage, but guaranteed. Gastro Toxic again, can't miss, which is really good. But Gastro Acid and Worry Seed are both things that Amoonguss learns. If you're running against something with a problematic ability, you could give it that and shut it down. I also learned Swagger, which is really good. You could have them, especially you could use Swagger to get them confused and then raise their attacks, so if they hit themselves, they do more damage. It also learns Rain Dance and Sunny Day. Yeah, it learns Rain Dance, Sunny Day, and Grassy Terrain. So if you want if you want someone to set it up, especially in doubles with like a Trick Room or something, you can set those up. And Amoonguss will take the hit easily. But that's how to use Amoonguss in Pokemon Sword and Shield.